All right. We're back in regular session. And
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we continue our discussion of the potential violation 2015-3 to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
second?
Second.
And any opposition there too? Hearing no opposition, we will move 2015-3 to our next regularly scheduled meeting. What I'd like to do is just finish as close as we can the rest of the agenda before we leave. To the extent that we have this, Mr. Kelly, we're on C.
Oh, here we
Educational
go.
piece
C.
about disclosure. Where are we at with this?
So there was we noticed that at a recent assembly meeting there seemed to be some confusion about what needed to be disclosed and how it got disclosed. And we decided that what we would do is just send a letter to the assembly, just sort of clarifying what it seemed that at the meeting, the substantive confusion seemed to be that at least some assembly members seemed to be under the impression that all they needed to disclose were financial or personal interests that were substantial in the particular matter. Whereas what the code requires is the disclosure of any financial or personal interest that one has in the matter, and then it gets evaluated by the assembly in terms of whether it's substantial or not. Some members looked to us, were sort of short-circuiting that and just saying, I have no substantial interest here, therefore I have nothing to disclose.
Right.
They were, at this meeting, advised to the contrary by the municipal attorney, but that advice did not, for whatever reason, stick. And so we had agreed that we might perhaps write a letter to them, just sort of clarifying that. And so this letter is an effort to try to get at that point that there's two different issues. There's an issue of having a personal or financial interest in a matter, so a perceived financial or personal benefit in a particular matter, and that those should be disclosed, and whether that disclosure happens and whether it happens adequately is within the jurisdiction of this board. Once that disclosure has been made, the determination of whether it's substantial is entirely within the jurisdiction of the assembly. And so we're just trying to clarify that one of the takeaways is that they should be disclosing any personal or financial interest in a matter that is before the assembly, and not just the substantial ones.
Okay. Have we seen this before?
No, I did this this week.
Okay.
And then again, I would be envisioning, like we did with a previous letter, that as an attachment to this, we would have the sheet that lays out the criteria that get used.
I was just, yeah.
In terms of whether the interest is substantial or not.
The factors.
That's right. So you notice there's a couple points where I say see attached, right in the middle paragraph there. I say see attached, and that's what we've done. And we've done this a couple times before, and that's what I'm envisioning.
Okay. I propose to move this to the next meeting.
Well, I have a thought.
Oh.
If we put this together in like a memo form, and like this could be your topic of discussion on the 23rd with the Ethics and Election Committee, instead of going to the assembly, bypassing them, maybe if you present this in a memo form to that committee for their consideration, and then let them decide whether this is something they want to put out to the assembly. And then if you were able to come, Terry, you could speak to your piece.
Yeah, no, that's all.
Yeah, so long as the board agrees with this.
Yeah, right.
That was my only hesitation, because we're a little over time, and I want to make sure people have a chance to review it.
So do you want to wait until maybe bring it back like you were?
Yeah, again, I don't think this is one where there's any particular rush. I mean,
Okay.
we sort of want to get this, we would
It's
like to get this
really
clarified, but I don't think it's.
That would be my suggestion, just so we have a chance to read it before next meeting, so that we can say, yeah, this is what we want to present. And then the following meeting, I think it's a great idea, is to take it to the committee.
Ethics and Election Committee,
Yeah, I think so.
and then work it into the assembly
That's right.
through them and say, look, if you.
Yeah, you could say
Well-
we noticed this problem or
Yeah.
issue.
And they will likely, based on what's happened already, they will take this and it will be leafed throughout the assembly chamber. I mean, this will make the rounds, because there was a lot of attention to this issue
Right.
from various assembly members. So I'd prefer just to go through it again
Okay.
before we do it. So I would, so I'd move that 6C to move to next month's meeting, if that's okay with everybody else. And then unfinished business, this is the rewriting of the ethics code and the development of procedure for investigation of unfinished legislation.
Which is pretty much done.
Is it
Carrie and I
done?
worked together to do this.
You did?
I sent it out because I want you
Mhm.
to have it to be able to look through yourself.
Yeah.
But we could bring it, being that you all have it
Mhm.
now, maybe you could look at it before the next meeting.
we bring
and then
that
we
back
can get
also?
a check off on that.
Okay, let's bring that back. That's 7A. B, we kind of need Mr. Silver here to discuss that, but I think that, Kathleen, you've been working on this, haven't you?
Mhm.
I know you have. I propose we bring this up next month also. The annual report, that's Mr. Silver, where he had touched it, and then, no, haven't seen anything else.
No, I haven't seen anything since
Okay.
its initial.
Because didn't he promise the last time to get something? So he hasn't got anything back to you? Okay, let's just plan on dealing with that next month then. Any member comments from anybody here before we adjourn? Any audience participation? Audience participation? Echo because of the absence of anybody else here. I move to adjourn. Anybody, second?
Second?
Any opposition to adjournment? All right, adjourn.